wrapping up here, and I hope I'm not playing something out here. I saw you pulled up that Rotten Tomatoes for The Matrix.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, you're a huge fan, and Female Perspective was as well. My thought in my head is that you probably weren't going to see it.
You are. If I was going to see it, I mean, outside of my home, I would probably. Well, it wouldn't be tonight. It might maybe on Saturday or something. If the female perspective was still with us, and she is, and she ain't. But anyway, she was right. We would be there right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I kind of figured. But I mean, it's cards on the table. It's on HBO Max, right?
You got to pay the most expensive tier, but yeah.
Right, but if it's on HBO Max, that means it's gonna be booted. On a copy somewhere.
Some fool might have done it, but I'm looking at these scores.
Yeah.
and I'm guessing only people that really, really, really love The Matrix would go see it. And if you get them this score already, that ain't good.
Yeah, I'm still not over the fact that they didn't ask Morpheus back. Like I can't get over that.
Or Hugo Weaving either.
Well, I'm still not over the fact that they made that second movie.
Or the third one. Or the third one. All of them. Sir, I told you. I told you my story, right?
It's the Matrix cake.
Yes, the Matrix cake. I made a raid.
Some new listeners. So.
Yeah, so for the second one, the first one we saw 4 or 5 had the movie theater. So like, yeah, the second movie, it's gonna be great. Yes, I spent real money to get a red and blue pill cake for the second movie. We saw it midnight on a school night, and shit, two and a half hours later, that fucking cake went to the garbage, not eaten, not one bite taken out, because that shit was awful. $35 and 2001 money or 221 money is about $100.
I'm not a Matrix fanatic for sure. I will argue with you though that is not a terrible movie until after the highway scene. It's not a great movie, but after the highway scene, that movie is an absolute wrap. It's done. As soon as you get to the Architect, the whole series is over. That's it. Architect through the third one, done. It's over.
The vampire stuff, the vampire twins.
There's like an opening scene where they're all standing in a circle, all dressed the same, all talking the same, and they're all telling this Scooby-Doo story, like sort of trading lines. And I was just sitting there like, oh, this is gonna be bad.
Right.
Oh, and then you get the rave.
Oh, yeah.
That's a bad movie all the way through.
And the Morpheus. Yes, we're getting our ass kicked on the surface, but let's fucking party like it's 1999. Oh! Awful. Every black person of worth was in that movie. Let's throw in black people too because they didn't get the first movie.
A cake.
If Krampus threw $35 worth of cake away, he had strong feelings about it.
Oh, you fuck! I still remember them shits. Unfortunately, yes.
That's awful. Yeah, I don't. The Twitter reviews or whatever. Again, we're creatures of the moment and we forget everything that happened. And I think, I think top-down perspective as we're older, it's just like, hey, man, no, those really weren't good movies. And you rationalize your way through it. Amazing Spider-Man 2 was not a good movie. And we don't need to see Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man. Like, we're good. Like, we're done with these types of things. And so making a Matrix movie with Keanu, which is great, and Carrie-Anne Moss, it seems like a good idea in principle. But execution.
Now, boy, I speak of execution.
Yeah. Oh, God.
There ain't no way in hell this movie is in the fucking 70s. And nothing. I will whoop anybody's ass that comes talking to me. Oh, that movie's a C-. Fuck that. That shit was an F.
Oh.
And Mike, I'm the biggest that's still with us. I'm the biggest Matrix lover there is, and the movie suck.
Well, I gotta say, I felt like a little bit of a low energy podcast up until now. So thanks for bringing the heat there to close.
Yeah, well,
Make sure you stay through the credits on this one.
Well, actually, I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, well, I'm gonna have to cut this into 2 videos. Our thoughts on the Matrix, and we just ended freaking the Spider-Man review. So yeah, good to know. All right. On that note, we will wrap this up. As the producer of this podcast, we've been find it SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, all of those things. Podbean, just put in Brothers Comics, it'll show up. If you're on the YouTube, go ahead and subscribe, rate, review, all that 5-star reviews, nothing else. Give us 4 stars. I'm assuming
how many stars though.
I'm sorry. If you gave us 4, I'm assuming you hate us. So
damn.
No, yeah, that's that. All of those types of things, and then we'll be back
next year.
Yeah, probably next year at this point. We'll probably have to, off script, figure out what we're going to do with things that are coming up. And I think Brother Beavers had brought that up a few weeks ago. It was like, hey, there's things coming up. I'm sure there's no definitive She-Hulk book that we could review that's going to be based on whatever this is. I'm sure they're pulling that shit.
They'll just throw everything together and see what happens.
They're pulling that shit off the wall, but that's fine. But yeah, we'll figure something out here moving into the new year with a a more definitive schedule. But anyway, again, as producer of this podcast, I'm signing off. Brother Beaver, sign off, man.
All right, see you next time, whenever that might be.
Whenever that might be in the new year. Hutch, sign off. Don't get fired, man. No more Matrix rants.
Have a good evening, and I'm an American. I'll do what I want.
Oh, geez Louise. All right, everybody. We'll see you on the other side. Peace.
Peace.
That's hilarious.